Hello there, wrestling fans. I just finished watching Friday Night SmackDown from today's episode. That means September 25. And it was an episode with a lot of surprises to me and a lot of stuff proving, in my opinion, certain things, or that should at least prove certain things. We had two blockbuster matches tonight, one announced more or less indirectly on last week's SmackDown, where Big Show said that when Batista defeated Jericho, if he faced me, he wouldn't have it that easy, or something like that. And then it was announced on Superstars last night, that we would have indeed Batista versus Big Show on SmackDown. That was one of the matches. We also got, during the opening of the show, the big question, of course, was what had happened to Theodore Long. They aired a video package of the abduction last week on SmackDown, and at the opening of the show, CM Punk came out, again pandering and claiming to be the greatest champion ever due to him being straight edge. And he also opened a challenge, who's next for me? As I made the Undertaker tap out, I erased the charismatic enabler, as I called Jeff Hardy, and he expected a complete new fresh face, but instead we got the lights dimmed out, we got the Druids coming out of the casket. CM Punk sold it very well, very good opening promo and a very good opening segment. CM Punk was real scared of the casket. You almost more or less got scared yourself. You were sitting on the edge of the couch waiting for what was supposed to happen. Was the Undertaker in the casket? CM Punk slammed the casket several times with a chair, opened, and inside was Theodore Long. Very good segment. I didn't really know what to expect. Theodore Long was inside the casket, all tied and with I don't find the word for it, but over the mouth, so he could not speak. He dragged him into the ring, where he untied Theodore Long. He announced that this night we will also, in addition to Batista Big Show, have the Undertaker versus CM Punk in a regular match, and then at Hell in a Cell we would have a Hell in a Cell match between Punk and the Undertaker. That was kinda predictable. We could more or less assume that was gonna happen. Unless they were going to play out some parallel storyline between Theodore Long and Undertaker for a while before returning to that match, and the return match that the Undertaker rightfully deserves. This proves to me that the fact that they threw away a match between Punk and Undertaker this very night proves to me that they really has got something huge in store, and that they have real high expectations in that Hell in a Cell match at Hell in a Cell. So they gotta be having something really big in mind for that match in order to throw away a regular match between the two on SmackDown with so little time before that upcoming match, and with so little time from the last match at Breaking Point. So expect something big from that match, and expect that match to be the match of the matches inside Hell in a Cell that night. We also got announced that Batista, I more or less actually predicted this last week, since Batista seemed to be feuding now with Jericho and Big Show, facing them in singles matches. When he defeated Jericho, I started thinking maybe he will challenge for the tag team titles, and if he will do so, he will do it with Rey Mysterio, and that's exactly what happened. Batista announced it himself tonight. Rey Mysterio has now been out and suspended for 3 weeks. Next week he's been out for 4 weeks, 28 days, meaning he will with all likeliness not appear on SmackDown next week, except they think like this, that due to the episode being taped a Tuesday, that's 28 days from him being suspended, and then on Friday, in some weird way they figure it, well, since it's air on Friday, they pretend they air, and it's live on Fridays, they will pretend that it's been more than 30 days. I don't believe they can do that, so don't expect Rey Mysterio to arrive until the actual pay-per-view, where he will team with Batista. And this also proves something in my mind, and that is that Rey Mysterio will not be punished in any further way or motion, or receive any restrictions, or end up in the doghouse. He will be right back in there with the steam, with the hot steam, with the top guys, the content for the titles, as he was when he left. We had a forgettable tag team match opening up the card of the night. You saw Finlay team up with John Morrison to take on Dolph Ziggler and Mike Knox. The Morrison Finlay tandem won after the Starship Pain. Very good addition, Starship Pain this time. He has botched it more or less for a couple of times, and that's of course very easy to do with such a move. Interesting also to see that Vince McMahon was once again on the show. He pressured Theodore Long as usual due to this probation angle playing out, and Vince McMahon also came out to say two things. First, he's going to hype the next week's 10-year celebration of the SmackDown show. It's going to be next week with several wrestlers from Monday Night Raw, such as Generation X, John Cena and Legacy. Which is good because John Cena and DX actually has been both on SmackDown over the years. Not the combination of Shawn Michaels and Triple H, due to indeed Shawn Michaels has never been on SmackDown since the brand extension in 2002. But DX as a unit, as a formula, have been on SmackDown from the times in 2000 when they appeared on both shows, all wrestlers. John Cena, as we all know, debuted on SmackDown in 2002. He also announced that he's got the WWE just signed a few weeks ago a future world champion, and I didn't know whom he really was talking about, or if he was going to introduce a completely new wrestler or something. But the guy he introduced was a Scottish wrestler, he said, and I kind of understood whom it was going to be, and indeed it was Drew McIntyre whom he introduced. He handed over the microphone and left the ring to give Drew McIntyre the entire time and space in the ring during that segment. And that is another thing that proves something to me, and it is that WWE has got huge expectations on Drew McIntyre, and that they consider him a real prospect in wrestling. He is a former FCW champion, and he's been on SmackDown and Raw before. I'm not sure if he ever competed live on Raw, I don't think so, but he competed a lot on SmackDown in 2007, and he's a real accomplished athlete. He has been feuding now with R-Truth. That feud continued tonight, but the mere fact that Vince McMahon claims that this guy is going to be a future world champion, and just the fact that he personally hands over the microphone to Drew McIntyre, is kind of leaving the ring over to him and leaving, that proves a lot. They would not do that if they were not serious. It was a serious moment. Vince McMahon did not in any way, shape or form make fun of Drew McIntyre, and he did not in any way, shape or form try to diminish, saying something or acting in a weird way to diminish Drew McIntyre. That was a real token of respect for the prospect that is Drew McIntyre in their eyes. So keep looking for this guy. They will have huge intentions for him within the upcoming year, and I guess he will probably move pretty quickly up into and wrestle with the mid-card title, the Intercontinental title, that is, perhaps a feud with John Morrison or something coming up in a few months. Also proven that they have certain plans for this guy is the fact that when R-Truth came in through the crowd and he attacked Drew McIntyre and started fighting, you immediately have referees out there tearing them up, breaking them apart, because R-Truth got the better of Drew McIntyre and referees immediately ran out to break them up, as if to say, we gotta protect Drew McIntyre, Vince McMahon's crown jewel. It will be interesting if they play that angle out and that gimmick out of Drew McIntyre being the crown jewel of Vince McMahon, kind of receiving all the needed protection all the time, and that they really look out for him. Will be a very interesting storyline to follow. We now know all the 3 Hell in a Cell matches for the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view, expecting it to be just 3. It will be the same matches that were submission matches at Breaking Point. The Hell in a Cell concept is a match where you end a storyline. So expect John Cena, Randy Orton to be over, perhaps CM Punk, Undertaker to be over. They had the second match, it's going to be the third match at Hell in a Cell. It's dubious whether they will have a 4th match, especially on a pay-per-view like Bragging Rights, which would be kind of like Cyber Sunday with the fans voting. And you'll also have the rubber match DX Legacy, the 3rd match in that series as well. I don't expect there to be any more Hell in a Cell matches at the pay-per-view, and like I said, I hope they bring back the old Hell in a Cell, the one with the lower roof, because that will make it more interesting, making it easier for the wrestlers to get up on top of the cage. The new cell is ridiculously high, so it's it's literally very, very dangerous, even more dangerous than the old Hell in a Cell to even get up there on the top and fall through. You will be dead. So I hope they bring back the old cage. Thank you for watching and have a nice day.